Hi, I'm going to try and do a quick video with a baby kitten baby carrier and a newborn. I'm going to wear my newborn legs out in this carrier, so I'm going to show you some tips that make that position work for me. The most important thing is to make sure you have the right size kitten. This is an extra small. I am usually a small shirt size, but I'm probably about a medium now. I'm also 10 days postpartum. But he's a little newborn, and so I don't want a lot of extra space, so the extra small is definitely the right size. The other thing you need to know about your kitten is that there are seams on each of the loops, and they're hard to see in the camera, but if you look around your two loops, you're going to find a seam. If you put that seam in the front where your baby is, you're going to have a little extra space. If you don't want that extra space, you want to position it behind your back. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that my seams are back where this extra loop piece is that holds them together, because James is small and I don't want any extra space for him in the front. So I found both my seams and I pulled them to the back. I'm going to make sure that my loops are spread out and not twisted to start with. Sometimes it takes a little work to keep these untwisted. And then the way I put this on is I'm going to put it over my head like a necklace, separate the two loops, and then trying again not to twist, I'm going to put one arm through one loop and the other arm through the other loop. So now I have an X of fabric in front of me and a similar X behind me with that extra loop. I'm going to take a second to spread these out and make sure that they're hopefully not twisted. I try to spread down my shoulder to make sure that I have a single layer and no twists and I know where everything is. And then I'm going to put my arms through the side and kind of push that cross to the bottom, because that's where his bottom is going to sit. I have an inside cross right here and an outside cross right here. I'm going to start with the inside cross with him, so I'm going to put him up on the opposite shoulder and pop him into the inside cross first. Now he is a little sleepy, and this is take 3, so we're going to hope that this works okay. So I'm going to put him up on my shoulder. I'm going to start with the inside cross. I'm going to reach through from the inside and grab his leg and slide him down. Now, once he's kind of settled in here, I'm going to reach, make sure his arm tucks in, and spread that cross from knee to knee and up along his shoulder. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to reach from the side, push down, grab that second leg and arm, and spread them from knee to knee. So then the next thing that I do with this little guy to settle him is to give him a pacifier. So I'm going to lean forward a little bit, find his mouth, let him take a pacifier, and then I'm going to encourage him to put his head down like this. Now he usually goes to this side, so that's the side I'm going to start with. Lots of bouncing. Okay, so now that he's in here and he's a little bit more calm, I'm going to take his head and try to tilt it up nice and high so that I know that his chin is off of his chest and I can see his whole face when I look down. Then I'm going to take the side that goes over his head, give it a little extra pull just to make sure he has enough slack, but I like to leave it over his head for now to kind of give him a little bit of extra support and to hold his head there in case I bend over a little bit while I'm wearing him. Now the second side, I don't want to lose any of the support of this side, so I don't want to keep it down like this. I still want the cross to stay up nice and high, but I don't want to cover his face. So I'm going to take the inner rail by my neck and I'm just going to pull it over my shoulder. So now I've folded it down over my shoulder a little bit. I can even fold it down a little bit right in front of his face if that helps. But the cross is still right here. So he still has support from 2 layers all the way through. And now that he's in and settled, I'm going to take a look at his legs. He's a little bit crooked and his spread might be a little bit wider than his normal spread. So I'm going to reach inside and try to kind of bump him up straighter. And then I'm going to narrow, reach in just the katan, make it a little bit narrower at the base for him, and then kind of help him adjust his hips and his knees back to his normal newborn tuck. So his knees are up, his butt's here, his knees are here, and his feet are kind of free like this. So now he's nice and comfy. I know it's hard to see his face sometimes when you're looking at me, but that's what it looks like, and that's what I see when I look down. I see a nice high chin, and I can see his whole face and nose, and I know he's got a very clear airway. Then I can just do my comfort. I can look at the back. If I need to pull this loop down a little bit, sometimes that helps. if I need to spread it out a little bit. Just things that make me a little bit more comfortable to wear it. And then the last piece is just a security piece for him at this size. It's the extra sash. I want him to make sure he has a lot of support through his upper spine to keep him pressed tightly to my body to make sure he doesn't slump down. If I lean forward, he shouldn't fall away from me. So I'm going to use this sash to help me with that. Even though this katan is nice and snug and it's definitely the right size for this carry, I'm going to go ahead and use this sash. I'm going to tie it up high by his upper spine to make sure that he gets the benefit of that extra support. I'm going to pull nice and snug all the way around over his legs, and then I'm going to tie in back. And he's asleep, and that's kind of all there is to it. Now, if I were doing this without all of the talking, the nice thing about the katan is that I can wear it under my coat in this horrible winter that we're having and pop him in and out, and it takes just a second to do that. So this carrier's been working really well for us. It's also quick and easy around the house carrier. But you can see how high he is. His behind is here. My belly button is lower even by a couple of inches. But his face is up nice and high where I can see him. I can lean down, kiss top of his head, and I can see his face very clearly from my vantage point. So I hope that that's helpful. This is a 10-day-old newborn in a baby katan, legs out.